Hey guys, I completely spaced filming an intro for this video, so you get to stare awkwardly at this picture while I let you know that today we're going to be sharing some of my Sephora VIB sale haul items and also doing a tutorial on this look using the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. I love this eye look. It's a great transition into the next season, so if you'd like to check this out, then just keep watching. So I'm going to go ahead and try out a concealer that is a true classic and just honestly one that I've never utilized. I decided to go ahead and pick up a mini during the sale, and that is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. So I got the shade Cafe au Lait, I believe. Yeah, Cafe au Lait, which is light 2.4, and I'm just going to apply that pretty lightly, in all honesty, just a little bit under my eyes and just to brighten up a little bit. So obviously this was like I would say a fairly cult classic product for a while, and it's just one that I never picked up. It is on the pricier side. This is like the regular size, I believe, is $30, and that's pretty high for a concealer. So I just wanted to get a small one to be able to try it out, and in all honesty, these smaller sizes are always great for travel anyway, so. And of course I'm trying it on top of a foundation that I don't normally wear because I just put on the Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous. And I guess I will probably obviously try this with a foundation that I'm used to using just so I can really get a true first impression. It's, in all honesty, I don't think that it is as creamy as a lot of newer concealers. Like, I mean, obviously for a while there we were using a lot of like super high coverage, thicker concealers, but I feel like I have concealers that blend out a little bit better than this. I honestly just tried a drugstore concealer, and new to me, not new, but a newer drugstore concealer that I've honestly really been liking. So maybe I'll do like an updated, like some new drugstore favorites. Let me know if you guys would like to see that. It always helps me out when you guys leave comments in the comment section. Where else would you leave comments? So please feel free if you ever have any questions or any comments. I'd love to interact with you guys. And in all honesty, it does really help out my channel if you reach out to me that way, and I'm always more than happy to have discussions about makeup. Like, that's why we're all here, right? So you guys can see it does look really nice and natural. I do feel like I had to take a little bit more time to blend it out though, and that could be from the foundation underneath. So I will try it with another foundation in the upcoming days, and maybe I'll leave a little like blurb somewhere on the screen here to let you guys know how I feel about it with some of my like everyday go-to foundations. Okay, so you guys can see that's our finished skin, and I'm really just going for something fairly light today. So when I was watching a review on the new Fenty foundation, they were using a few of the Fenty brushes, and I had to pick up a couple of them. They look so pretty, and this powder, which one is this? The 170, it's like a powder setting brush. It just feels so soft, and I like that it's got some bounce to it, so I think that'll be really good for setting the under eye and not disrupting any of your concealer or anything. I'm not going to go too crazy with powder since we are going to be using some cream products. So I'm just setting the under eye and right around the nose. Oh, this feels so good. And it is synthetic. And I'm just using the Hourglass Veil powder. If you guys have watched many of my videos, you'll know that that's like one of the only powders I'll use. This brush feels so nice. And it's so pretty. So I am definitely glad that I picked up this brush during the sale. It's not by any means a like small investment, but I find that good brushes really do last a really long time. And I also got the 120 like contoured it's like a sculpting highlight brush. So I was actually watching the Dupe That channel, and Kay was saying that she uses it to contour her nose. And I don't really ever contour my nose very much, but I'm really interested to try this out to do that. But I could also see it being a pretty good like cheek highlight, so good multi-purpose brush. And when I was on the Sephora sales section, I saw that they had this 3-pack of brushes that came in this cute little clutch, and I thought that they, in the pictures, looked almost like kind of like vibing off these Fenty brushes. When I got them, I was a little disappointed because they looked more rose gold in the pictures, and you guys know me in rose gold, but these are the brushes, and they're actually more like, I would say, like a nude champagne color, which obviously the color at the end of the day doesn't matter if they're great brushes. But this is the sculpting complexion brush, the flat blending brush, and the small highlighting brush. So this 3-pack was on sale for like $18, and then of course having the Rouge discount for another 20% off. I thought that was really good, and this I thought looked really kind of similar to the Fenty large like contouring brush. If I love these brushes, I might get that one as well, because it just is so pretty, and they seem to be really nice quality. So, but couldn't beat the price on this. The one thing that I will say is these brushes are very dense. So this I could see using for cream products. And this one again for like a cream, like this one for maybe cream bronzer and contour, this one for either bronzer or contour, depending, maybe even blush if it's a sheer blush. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this highlight brush. Like maybe if I have a highlighter that's like really, really sheer, or it's a hard product to get out of the pan, because I don't know. I don't think I'll use this for highlighter because it's so stiff. I just feel like you'd put like a racing stripe on your face. So maybe this will be like an all over wash brush. I don't know. It's really stiff, but for $18, even if I just really like 2 of these brushes, I think that that's a pretty good deal. $18 before the sale. During the sale, I decided to take the plunge and try out a bronzer that I've been hearing so much about over the years, but it was just one of those products that I just couldn't bring myself to spend the money on. So during the sale, I picked up the Marc Jacobs Omega Bronze, and this is in the shade Tantastic. This bronzer is huge. You can see it's got a nice big mirror. This should be great for traveling when you need like a great mirror to sit out on the vanity. And this is 0.8 ounces. So that is really a good amount of product. One thing that I noticed when I opened this up, if you guys watched my Holy Grail product, you'll know that the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer was also on my top list. So it's funny because they both kind of have like a little tropical-y smell. This one's definitely way stronger, but this does have a little bit of coconut scent to it. But and it's sort of hard to see here, but when you put them side by side, the butter bronzer looks similar, just a little bit more satin colored. So I'm going to see if I can do a swatch on the back of my hand. Maybe they're not, they're a little bit different. You guys won't even be able to see this. I thought they were going to be a little bit closer. I'm kind of glad they aren't, because then I don't have to kick myself for spending this much money on a bronzer that's the same as the Physicians Formula. But this one is a little bit deeper and definitely not as luminous. And the butter bronze has a little bit more like golden tone to it. So I'm just going to use this all over the face, and I know that I have those cream products on, but I just really want more. I feel like Ariel. I want more. I can tell that I'm probably really gonna like this bronzer. Sorry, my camera keeps like freaking out with the lights. It is the end of August and the high is like 72 today or something like that. That's kind of sad. I don't know what's going on with the weather, but it's really dark and dreary out today, so I don't really have any natural light. It's only like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but there's no light to be seen, so sorry about that. Okay, so I really like this bronzer. It's it's really a perfect shade. Just kind of gives a little bit of all over glow. I think I'm definitely glad that I picked this one up. Now that we have our entire base down, I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of an eye look, and I'm really excited because I splurged big time during this sale. I have always wanted to get a Natasha Denona palette. I do have one of the little mini ones that I think I got in a Beautylish lucky bag, but they're pretty pricey shadows, and I've been looking at the Sunrise palette for a while now because Natasha did a palette where it's a little bit smaller, so you guys can see. Oh, this packaging is so pretty. So these eyeshadows are a little bit smaller than her normal shadows are, and you're getting less in here, but for a smaller price tag. So this palette is original price, I believe, $65, which seems like a lot, but I hear nothing but good things about Natasha Denona palettes, and from the little set that I have, I really like it. The mattes are beautiful, the shimmers are super shimmery, and I think there's some really fun shades in here. So I went ahead and splurged during the sale to go ahead and get this one. But then after I did my first order, they announced a sale on some of the palettes, and two of the large Natasha Denona palettes were in there, including the Sunset palette. And I believe the other one was more of a purpley palette, which I don't really tend to go more towards like purples and pinks. I'll go more like berry and like cranberry, but nothing that's like too much on the purpley side. But this Sunset palette is like right up my alley. We've got all of your warm, delicious orangey browns. There's a yellow in here, so you know I'm using it for yellow looks. So I decided to go ahead and get this one because it was on sale, and then you also got the 20% off of that. So I figured this was a good time to get that. I'd say the only thing is in this, I totally just dug the plastic sheeting into that eyeshadow. Speaking of plastic sheeting, what I was gonna say is the only thing that I don't like about this is you've got this plastic sheet that says the names of the shades, and in the smaller one it's printed right on the pans, and that's what I would prefer, because most of us are gonna rip that plastic sheet out and not use it and not keep it. So if you ever want to know what the shade is, you'll be out of luck. Or if you're dinking around and you dig right into your shadow. Anyway, so I got these two palettes. I thought what I would do is go ahead and use the Sunrise. Yeah, I thought I would go ahead and use the Sunrise palette today just to do a fun little like summer into fall kind of transitional eyeshadow look. So we'll go ahead and get started on that, and I will see you guys in a minute. I just filmed my favorite cream blush, bronzer, and highlighter video, so if you'd like to see that, I'll link it below. But because I did all of that beforehand, now it's going to be a little bit risky, because if I get any fallout from the shadow, it's obviously going to fall on my face, and we'll be in a little bit of a mess. So one thing that I like to do, if I do for some reason put all of my face makeup on first, is dust a little bit of a clear translucent setting powder just right under the eye. That way, if something does fall, when I go to whisk it away, the chances of it sticking to my skin are less likely. So it sort of looks like you're baking, but I'm not actually going to be baking and leaving that on super long. So what I like to use for that is the RCMA No Color Powder. If you guys saw my Holy Grail video, I talked about that powder. And the one reason I choose to use it for this is because it is really fairly clear, and also because it's so inexpensive. So I'm not going to go ahead and load on a bunch of pricey powder under my eyes to essentially just have it be like a safety guard against fallout. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll get started with the eye look. So my camera overheated when I started, so I decided to just complete one eye as far as the shadow goes, and we'll go ahead and do the same on the other eye, and then we'll go ahead and finish up together. I'm starting off with the shade Morgan, which is this beautiful peach tone as my transition shade. I just wanted to lay something down to help blend all of the rest of the colors, so just using a big fluffy brush and building that color until I see what I'm looking for. And now I'm taking Awakening on a flat brush for my lid. This is one of the Wayne Goss brushes, one of my favorites. And just laying down this tone, this is a really beautiful, almost rose gold shade. I did end up layering another on top, but this is a great base. And I went through with a brush and then decided to just push a little bit more on with my finger to get a little bit more intensity. And taking glory in the inner and outer corner with a Sigma E36 brush. This is really one of my favorites. It's like a tiny, fluffy little brush that really helps get color where you need it. And just traveling that through the crease to blend a little bit, just to carry that color through and add a little bit of depth. That glory shade is going to be so pretty for fall. And now I'm taking a small, flat pencil brush just to go through and add glory underneath. And I did decide to use that brush to pack on a little bit more on my inner and outer V. I found that the E36 just wasn't adding the intensity that I needed. So I carried that through the crease again and then blend it out using a bigger brush just to help get some softness after I've laid down the pigment. So here we are again with the E36 just to help blend that out. This is really like the most delicate blending brush you can get. But if you'd like to pack a little bit more pigment, go ahead and use a more dense brush first, and then you can use that E36 to help soften out. Now taking a big brush with the shade Morning to just help soften out that crease, really blow it out. And this is just that original brush I was using with Morgan with no extra product, just using whatever is left over to help warm up that transition. I decided to add Azalea to the lid just to really intensify the coppery look. This shade is really intense. I went through first with a brush and then again pressed a little bit of that pigment down with my finger. And going back through with Poppy, which is a little bit more of that maroon, almost mulberry shade. I really like the shimmer that that had. And then taking a pencil brush with Morgan to help blend out the glory shade that we put underneath. It just almost gives it that real like sunrise vibe, going from that purpley tone into the peach. And I'm glad that I placed that powder down because I did get a little bit of fallout, and all I'm going to do is take a big fluffy brush like this Fenty Beauty one that I'm loving so much, to go ahead and just whisk that away. So that usually works, I mean, pretty well. Like obviously, ideally, with a makeup look like this, it's a little bit more dramatic. I would probably just go through with my face makeup after I do my eyes, but that's not the way we're doing it today. So I'm just showing you guys a quick way to have a little bit of, I guess I would say, security, a little insurance policy on your eye look. And sometimes you get done with your face and you're like, oh, I really want to add a little bit more of a darker color in my outer V or something, and you're just afraid to not get like dark shadow all over your face. So just adding that little bit of a dusting does really help. All in all, just some final thoughts on this palette. I do really love it. And I went ahead and ended up using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shades from this palette so far. And I think, I mean, I'm already excited to try several different looks. I think you can get lots of berry looks. You can get those warm orangey looks. You can get some really nice golden looks. So, and this Aster shade looks really pretty too. So I'm really excited to play with this more. I'm definitely glad I picked it up. I think the pigmentation is amazing. The only thing is I use that Azalea shade, and first of all, with any of these, I found that a light touch goes a long way. I think sometimes maybe some of the other shadows that I've been working with recently have a more densely packed formulation to them, but these, like that Azalea shade, when I put in my brush, it just like kicked up a lot of product. And so a lot of times you'll get that with pigmented shades, but this one almost has a little bit chunkier texture to it. So that's the only thing to be careful of there. But other than that, I love it. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and use a little bit of setting spray just to set everything down. And since I did put a little bit of powder under my eyes, that will help bring that back to a little bit more of a dewy finish. And I'm going to go ahead and put on a little bit of black liner and some mascara and show you guys the final look. Okay, so here's the final look. I went ahead and did use some black liner. I was trying this Sephora brush tip liquid liner in waterproof to see if I like it as good as the Kat Von D one. Spoiler alert, I don't. I don't actually think they're even really that much of a price difference, but this guy is, I just don't think the brush works as well. It does really last a long time, but I just don't like the brush tip as well as the Kat Von D tattoo liner. But then I went through with, of course, my tried and true L'Oreal Telescopic Carbon Black. I almost always do this as my base coat, but then I went through with the Grande Drama Intense Thickening Mascara with Castor Oil. I kind of have a love-hate with this. When I put it on, at first I'm like, ooh, I really like this, but it can become too like clumpy, spidery fairly quickly, and I do think it smudges a little bit, so I never use it on my bottom lashes. But I do think it really gave a nice fullness to my lashes. It's not very often that I wear false lashes. I will for certain events and things, but from a day-to-day, I don't usually wear falsies. Let me know if you guys want to see more of a false lash look. I can certainly do that for you guys, but I just don't do it on the day-to-day regularly. It's more of a special occasion thing for me, but I do think that this look is really pretty. It's a great transition from summer into fall. If you want to know what's on my lips, please check out my favorite cream products video. You can find the details there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully the eye look was helpful to you. Let me know, are you interested in getting that palette? Like I said, it is definitely a splurge, but I think it's really going to be worth it. I am going to use that palette a lot. I hope you enjoyed getting to see some of what I got in the VIB sale. To be honest, I do have another box coming on the way, so I'm not done yet. I did decide to pick up a few more things, but I really had a good time getting to hang out with you guys today. Hopefully I will see you in my next video, so please subscribe so you don't miss and hit that notification bell. Thanks, and I'll see you really soon.